Welcome to this explainer. You know, utility companies drop absolute fortunes on glossy marketing campaigns, right? Telling us all how green they are. But today, we're putting on our investigator hats. We're tearing right through those greenwashing buzzwords to find out what they're actually spending on real physical grid upgrades. We are hunting down the hard, quantitative numbers behind the smart grid transition.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question. How do we objectively measure a smart grid? I mean, when an electric utility claims they're modernizing, how do Wall Street investors, or global regulators for that matter, actually score their progress? It can't just be based on PR promises, right? It absolutely has to be grounded in data.
Section 1. The Modern Grid Report Card.
So how do we grade them? Well, accountants look to the SASB standards, which are now part of the IFRS Foundation, by the way, to verify all these claims. SASB stands for the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, and you can think of this as the ultimate ironclad rulebook. It dictates exactly how electric utilities must report their actual environmental progress.
Section 2. Defining the smart grid.
Now, before we measure anything, we need to know what we're looking at. According to the standards, which actually lean on the International Energy Agency's strict definition, a smart grid isn't just a buzzword. It's an electricity network that uses digital and advanced tech to actively monitor and manage the transport of electricity from all sources. The ultimate goal here? To perfectly coordinate the needs of generators, operators, and us, the end users, as efficiently as possible. It's about minimizing costs and environmental impacts while totally maximizing reliability.
So, for an electric load to officially get that smart label, it has to enable at least one of 6 specific characteristics. It's got to enable informed customer participation, accommodate storage options, support new markets, deliver excellent power quality, optimize assets, or provide resiliency to disasters. It's really that simple. If a megawatt doesn't tick one of these boxes, well, it's just riding on the traditional grid.
Section 3. Metric 1. Smart grid load.
All right, let's look at the first major quantitative metric. In the accounting world, this goes by the incredibly catchy SASB code IF-EU-420A.2. But don't let the jargon fool you, the formula itself is surprisingly simple. The standard requires utilities to take the total amount of energy loads served by smart grid tech, measured in megawatt hours, and just divide it by their total overall energy load.
Let's picture a hypothetical utility company for a second. When they run that formula, investors and regulators get this clear, undeniable percentage. Say, in this example, 65% of the utility's load is served by smart grid tech, while 30% is still traditional and 5% is unmeasured. Boom! This metric cuts right through the corporate noise and hands us a hard, verifiable number representing their exact modernization footprint.
But you know, the standard doesn't just stop at a raw percentage. Context is everything. Utilities actually have to discuss the specific opportunities and challenges they face while building this grid. So they have to detail things like demand response capabilities and end-user efficiency opportunities, like weaving in distributed generation. On the flip side, though, they've also got to air their dirty laundry. They have to expose their hurdles, whether that's intense political opposition to smart grid development or just straight-up economic disincentives.
Section 4. Measuring customer energy savings.
Now let's shift our focus away from the macro infrastructure and look directly at the end user. Because let's be real, a truly smart grid should actively help customers use less power. This brings us to the next critical metric, IFU 420A.3. This standard tracks exactly how much customer electricity is being saved from efficiency measures, all broken down by market. And here's the kicker. This is measured in total megawatt hours, not dollars. Why? Because dollars fluctuate wildly with market rates. But a saved megawatt hour, that's absolute, undeniable proof of efficiency.
Section 5, Metric 2, Efficiency Measures.
Claiming you saved energy and actually proving it? Yeah, two very different things. So here's a massive accounting distinction you'll want to take away from this explainer. The difference between gross and net electricity savings. Gross savings look at any changes in consumption from participants in a program, totally regardless of why they participated. Net electricity savings, however, that's the real deal. Those are changes strictly attributable to the utility's specific program. It basically proves whether a utility actually drove the change or if they just took credit for a customer who decided to buy an LED bulb all on their own. Utilities have to be crystal clear about which baseline they're using when reporting.
So think about this for a second. What actually motivates a utility? A business literally designed to make money by selling electricity to help consumers buy less of it? Well, it all comes down to policy mechanisms. The SASB standards require utilities to outline the specific policies in their markets that incentivize efficiency. We're talking about mechanisms like deferral decoupling, single fixed variable rates, lost revenue adjustments, and energy efficiency feebates. These specific regulations are what actually make it financially viable for a utility to champion conservation.
But what happens when they fail? Well, the standard exposes that too. Utilities must publicly disclose any instances where they fell out of compliance with electricity savings obligations. If a local regulation demands a certain amount of energy savings and the utility misses the mark, they literally have to report the exact difference between what they delivered and what was required. It exposes their failure to comply with the law, functioning as a serious penalty and, honestly, just another brilliant layer of hard accountability.
Section 6. The future of accountability.
Ultimately, these specific SASB metrics do one thing incredibly well. They strip away all the marketing fluff to reveal the hard data of true grid modernization and customer efficiency. And as global standards continue to evolve under the IFRS Foundation, this level of scrutiny is only going to get tighter. Going forward, true environmental progress for electric utilities isn't going to be measured in glossy press releases about going green. It's going to be measured strictly in verified megawatt hours, rigorous calculations of customer savings, and the documented deployment of smart technology.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Next time you're looking at your monthly electricity bill, take a moment to consider the massive infrastructure behind it. As these rigorous accounting standards continue to evolve and absolutely force transparency, will your local utility be exposed as a relic clinging to the traditional grid, or will the hard data celebrate them as a pioneer of the smart grid? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep asking the tough questions.